All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are running way behind here tonight, and of course, I am not who you expected to hear. I'm pretty certain of that as well. A lot of crazy things happening right now. Sam Dyer not able to make it. We hope he gets his mic fixed for the Northwest Truck Series. Wesley Allen got called away on another event. That being said, I apologize for the awful broadcast here tonight. I am running solo here tonight. I am, of course, your host, Charles Wooten, running production and your call tonight. So I do apologize. Brockton Packard, we may get him in here at some point, but we'll see. Right now, we are letting him stay solo. Or I'm letting solo. We're going to let him race to improve the driver count because we know it's Talladega, and we definitely wanted that being said. We'll go ahead and quickly get through your grid for tonight's race. On row 1, it is going to be the 5 of DJ Daniel and the 96 of Zach Peterson. Row number 2, going to be the 69 of Eric Stamp and the 8 of Braxton Deweese, who has been on fire here lately in this series. Row 3, going to be the 48 of Andrew Cootie and the 21 of Ross Tatum. Row 4 going to be 94 of Josh Altus and the 88 of Matt Dyer, Sam Dyer's brother. We hope he is back later on tonight. Row 5 going to be Will Bushler in the 20 and the 03 of Trenton Jump. And row 6 going to be the 4 of Keenan Massey and the 24 of Brockton Packard. Row number 7 going to be the 2 of Logan Brakey and the 44 of Zachary Stone. On row 8, it's going to be the 52 of Jacob Brandt, 51 of Evan Coleman. And row 9 is going to be the 12 of Caleb Smith, and the 22 of Rob Shearwood. Again, apologize, my mic may be a little hot. We'll check on that when we get a chance. The 92 of Tom Fisher and the 55 of Chris Smith on row number 10, and rounding out the field on row 11 is going to be Robbie Helms in the number 18 machine. That'll be your Team 126 starting grid here for tonight's race. So we should be set to go here. It should be a good race. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. Definitely from my perspective here in the announcer's booth, going to be a good one. We'll go over weather and all of that good stuff here when we get the chance. We know there's a competition caution coming out on lap 30, lap 28. Of course, pit road will close, so these guys will not be able to come down as the green flag is officially out for the first time here tonight. And we are racing, and there you can see your legend. Everyone in green has advanced in the playoffs, are in the blue. So, everything on the line right now. Everyone trying to get into the final race to win that championship. Again, that will be Kansas. We're at Talladega right now. And then we have 2 more races after tonight before we do that final race at Kansas Motor Speedway. But we'll see how tonight goes. This is one of those. Flip a coin. It could go your way. It could not go your way. You got to have a little bit of lady luck on your side, as well as some good teammates to work with. We'll see how it all plays down, who shakes out right now. Single file racing is how it's going down. So we'll just have to wait. It is DJ Daniel, Eric Stamp, Cootie, Deweese, and Tatum going to be your top 5. They really singled out. You have to go back to about 10th, 11th, and 12th before you see any double-wide racing action. That is where you could see the cautions. 3 wide. When will it happen? When will the big one happen? Those are all the questions that are at stake here that just have to be answered later on tonight. But if they stay single file like this, that is not going to happen anytime soon, as it looks like we're going to have the 52 of Grant kind of check out of line there for just a minute, but he tucks back in. He may have had a little shot in the shorts there. We'll see if that is the case, but I don't see any damage on that machine. As you see right there, a nice clean number 52 machine. Got that green spoiler going on, indicating playoffs, so good job for him to just maybe get out and get some clean air. That is another thing we'll be watching for as you watch these guys that are bumper to bumper right now under green flag conditions. You will see right there, just kind of offsetting that car a little bit. That is to get some clean air. You do not want to keep right behind them. You keep there, that temperature will go up for the water temp, and the kaboom could go the engine. So you do not want to blow these engines up early on in the race. Really, you don't want to blow them up at all, but definitely not this early in the race. So we'll keep an eye on those. Of course, we can always go on board if we want to and take a look. And you can't see it. It doesn't give us that information, but you can see the RPMs right there, around 8,000 RPMs, as he is right on the back bumper. And, oh, he actually hit him in the rear as he gave him a shot coming through the tri-oval and coming to the line. We'll see. That is, of course, on board with Eric Stamp in second position, and they're coming to the line. They've just actually passed it just a moment ago, but again, this is all the stuff we're going to be taking an eye on, watching throughout this race. And again, I apologize for me being solo here tonight. We'll see how it all shakes down. Is Sam Dyer having some mic issues, and Wesley Allen being called away to another event. So it is solo time here for myself in the booth. Charles Wooten on call. We're on lap 4 of 94. DJ Daniel out front, and it's a Congo line right now, folks, until you get all the way to 14th position, where you're starting to see a little bit of double wide racing action. We got Zach Peterson, Zachary Stone, Trenton Jump back here, and we may see Braxton DeWeese trying to make a move. No, it's actually Cootie that's getting out of line in the 48 machine. He is going to go to the high side, and that is not going to be the high side hustle. He is going to go maybe more like a high side shuffle, as he's going to get shuffled right to the back. That is not what he wants to do. Maybe he does want to do it. He's actually just kind of tagging to the back here. So, looks like maybe he chose that. We'll see. He may have got shoved out of line, or he could have chose to get out of line. Either way, he goes to about mid-pack now. So a little further back from about 5th, 6th to about 15th. So he is definitely falling backwards right now. And we may have Sam, I believe. So, Sam, you got a copy?
We're testing to see if this is working. I don't know if you can hear me properly, but
we got you loud and clear.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, yeah, we're here at Talladega. I'm able to chime in, and we got things rolling on my end.
Well, that is good to hear, because I think you just improved the level of this broadcast from about a 10 to probably a 70.
Oh, that's good.
So, good to have you back. But, yeah. It's typical, Talladega Daytona racing right now. We're single file up towards the front, double file towards the back. So kind of what we expected coming into this race.
Yeah, this is what Talladega brings you with this new aero package that the Cup drivers run. It's a lot of single file, stay in line. Where the passes are going to be made, it's under pit road. That's when the drivers are going to be making their biggest moves on what mistakes they make and what accelerations they can make, because you can make a lot of big moves by coming into pit road with 5 to 7 drivers. But if you come in by yourself or only with 2 other drivers with you, you could be losing a lot of ground on the rest of the pack.
Yeah, you definitely, and you do not want to lose that ground, because it doesn't take just a little bit losing that draft, and you will fall back in a hurry. Excuse me. We've already seen a couple of drivers that have fallen back a little ways. We saw Grant got out of line a little bit, but he was able to tuck back in, and he didn't lose the draft. Cootie went from about 4th or 5th, maybe 6th place. He got out of line, and just right to the back he went to about 15th or 16th. So a lot of people maybe experimenting early on in this race. If you're going to, this is the time to do it. I think you do not want to be stranded out there late in the race and get pushed to the back and literally forfeit your chances for a win.
Yeah, the biggest thing about this package is finding drivers to trust. This is the biggest trust fall you can make, is trying to make a move, and you're hoping the whole entire field behind you is going to follow you when you go to the outside. But I've been seeing a lot of the trend of drivers feeling a lot more secure by just staying on the inside lane, staying with everyone else, and letting whatever driver feels like they want to risk a move on the outside just fall back, because they don't have enough momentum or other drivers to work with one another, utilizing the draft to its fullest potential. But if you can get anywhere from 5 to 8 cars in line, you can really take off and have a great run on the outside. But it's all about finding that group, teammates or allies that you built up throughout this whole entire season, to trust one another to go forward and take a shot.
Yeah, and with we hate to bring up dirty laundry of a league or of our own if we have any, but especially of a league. But you have to bring up the intentional wrecking and stuff that's gone on in the past to lead up to where we're at. If you're a driver and you just cannot stand another driver, and there are cases where that happens, we've seen it all too well. A race like this is the perfect opportunity to get your payback or your revenge, whatever you want to call it, because some guy is looking for a win, and if you happen to be behind him, you can easily team up with some other people and leave him high and dry in the last little bit of a race, send him to the back, and that's how you can legally and appropriately get your revenge on another driver and just take them out of contention of a race without ever wrecking them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you were watching any of the NASCAR Coca-Cola Series last night, we saw a lot of drivers that had the potential of working with one another and moving forward, but a lot of drivers, even late in the race, felt too scared to make a move, and it cost them having a potential shot to really make a pass for the lead, and all the big moves happened at the pit road, and that's when we're going to be seeing a lot of these drivers having that focus, which we're about 8 laps away from drivers having to come into pit road and make their first pit stop, which is going to be before that comp caution window. So drivers, they got to start thinking now and deliberating, hey, do we want to pit early or do we want to pit as late as possible on this first pit stop?
Yeah, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Pit stops are a way you can make a mistake. That could win or lose you, make or break you a win here tonight. Another way is you see them kind of offsetting themselves. Obviously, we know what that's for. I explained it a second ago. You got to kind of offset yourself. You do not want to stay on someone's back bumper for more than you have to. You could very easily overheat those that oil temp or that water temp and blow the engine. So you have to be conscious of that. You do not want to overheat that engine. So you'll see them doing it here a little bit as we can go to, let's go to DJ Daniel and go off the rear of his car, and you'll see right there how he offsets a little bit. You've got to get that clean air. You can't stay behind too long or boom, boom goes the engine, Sam.
Oh, it can explode very easily if you stay on someone's back bumper for over, you'd say 2 or 3 laps directly on the back bumper of the driver in front of you, having zero air or that little pocket to work with. Your engine is going to blow up very quickly, but at the same time, it's that risk and reward that you have to take for yourself. The risk of blowing up your engine while trying to make a move, and that's what some of these drivers behind Eric Stamp and DJ Daniel, as well as that of Braxton DeWeese, where they got to pick and choose. When do you want to make this move? But as you can see, the drivers, our top 3, keeping pretty snug with one another. Everyone else kind of spacing out, giving each other plenty of room. I think everyone's recognizing, hey, we don't want to cause the big one, be involved, and then lose any shot of using a chance to have a great finish at the end, because you don't want to use up that fast repair before you get to the comp caution.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to use that up before the competition caution. And you talk about that risk versus reward. Right now, the risk is astronomical. We get down to those last 3-4 laps of the race, that risk becomes maybe a little more manageable. I might do this because it'll only last 2 or 3 laps. And if that's all you got left, maybe you blow it up coming across the line, but you get the win. So as we go, the risk to reward, that scale is going to change drastically throughout this race. And we may see somebody make some really bold moves. If you're going to win, Sam, we've seen it over and over again. You wait to the last minute. If you have a teammate, you slingshot out. You get by them at the line, you're the win.
Yeah, that pass is going to be, if anyone's going to have a shot to win this race, the move is not going to be on the back stretch or through turns 3 and 4. It's when we get to the front stretch through the tri-oval. That is going to be your last moment where a lot of drivers are going to have to pick and choose. Do you want to stay with your friend, or do you want to make an enemy here late coming? I mean, we're at the second race of the round of 8 to see who's going to be racing for the championship, and only 4 drivers get to move on from this stage. So we already know Braxton DeWeese is going to be moving forward, but that front stretch on the white flag, it is going to be pandemonium on who's going to win this race. And right now, DJ Daniel, a non-playoff driver up front, running well. But I feel like it's going to be one of the drivers that's up front that has the best shot to win this race but it's super speedway racing here, Charles. You know, someone in the back, teams that are lingering in the back, they're always waiting and looming for those final 10 to 5 laps when they're going to charge up front.
Yeah, they definitely are. And, you know, to explain a little you wait to the very last minute. I'm not the biggest football fan on the planet. Everybody knows that. But, you know, if you've got your favorite football team, and I know there's a lot of fantasy football fans in the league themselves, you know, you see that team that they've got 2 minutes on the clock and they're ahead. They run the ball down the field. They just eat that clock away. That's essentially what you do if you're in second, third. You just wait that clock out and then make your final move at the very last second. And then you get the win. That's what you try to do. That's what these guys are going to do here. You know, being that they're in the playoffs, if you're someone like Braxton DeWeese, you know, you want the win not because you want to advance. You already are. But that's just points and positions you're taking away from these guys that really need a win, like Stamp, Tatum, Brakey, Altus. These guys that are further down, they really want to get that win, and DeWeese really wants to take it away from them.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be hurting if we do see a non-playoff driver or Braxton DeWeese winning and taking away a shot. This is going to be hurting that of Joshua Altus as well as that of Evan Coleman the most. Both drivers double digits back from the cut line, which that's Logan Brakey that they're trying to get up to. So those two drivers, they're in a must-win type of a scenario, or at least a must top 3, and needing such as a Ross Tatum or Logan Brakey to have it off type of a race. Get the points closer. So when you go to Phoenix next week, your final shot to make it into the championship 4, you've got a better opportunity than going into Phoenix knowing that you have to win, because Talladega, it's a wild card race. You never know who could win here, because the big one could happen any moment from now or on the last lap.
Yeah, and, you know, coming to a race like this, I mentioned it a little while ago, you know, who do you want on your side more? Do you want your teammates, or do you want Lady Luck on your side? You know, you may only have one of them if you don't have any teammates, but if you had to pick teammate or Lady Luck, which one you want with you tonight?
I mean, I'm wanting Lady Luck. Luck is always nice to have. It seems like you look at professional racing, even professional sports, to the virtual side. When you're super speedway racing, yes, you've got the skill that can put you an opportunity to win, but you always need that little ounce of luck to get yourself completely the victory at the end of the day.
Yeah, you know, I'm with you. I want a little Lady Luck. You know, you talk about Lady Luck. Let's go to show our age here, at least my age, probably not yours. You may know about this. But to all the veteran NASCAR fans out there, to show, you know, how these drivers in real life want luck on their side, you know, you go back and look, as we got some people coming down pit road way earlier than I thought they would. You know, you look at Dale Earnhardt Sr. He used to put a lucky penny in little stuff. He would, you know, glue it to his thing just to get luck on his side. And, again, pit stop's happening much earlier than I figured.
Well, this is around the window that the drivers can come into pit road. I mean, this is right inside of the window. Their fuel window anywhere from 18 to 21 laps. So at the start, but drivers, they are going to be having to force to come into pit road at least, you know, before the comp caution at lap 30, when the drivers are going to have that yellow come out, but they're going to have to come into pit road at least one time before that, unless we have a caution come up, which right now, not looking like it, but it's only a 4-car pack that came into pit road that are coming out together now, and only 4 cars, that's really not a lot to work with, but when you got different drivers spaced out throughout that first pack, you can honestly get a lot of speed as another group of drivers coming into pit road, that being Trenton Jump and others joining into the mix.
Yeah, Braxton Louise coming down, and this final group that's going to be coming down, which is your top, right now, 9 drivers. This group here, this is kind of when I figured they would come in and do their pit stop. It's just right now it's not happening. I figured they would come in right about now, but they haven't done it. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, looking at some of the drivers that's part of this last group that's out here, I mean, they're trying to stay out as long as possible. And I like the size of this group. They all come in together, which it's looking like it all except for one, and that's going to be Josh Altus. you can't go out by yourself. That is a great window to make sure that you're going to be having a tough order, but a large group coming into pit road. And this is a great order of drivers to, if you come in with 6 or more drivers, you can actually run faster than some of the bigger packs that are together, but it all matters on that teamwork. As this last group to come in, got that of our leader, DJ Daniel, also Zach Peterson, Andrew Cootie, Ross Tatum. A lot of these drivers trying to get a good run here so they can try to make sure they're the front pack once we get that comp caution.
Yeah, and, Sam, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Lone Ranger. Well, there he is right there. He made his way to this racetrack. Josh Altus, he is the Lone Ranger out there. The car says solar energy. I think it means solo energy because he either missed his stop or something. He did not even come down pit road. He is coming in by himself. I have a feeling this very well could be a detrimental call. Good news for him, he does have that comp caution coming out here in 9 laps.
Yeah, that is the biggest thing that's going to save Altus at this moment is the fact that there is that comp caution on lap 30. So still a lot of time. Should not be going a lap down, even though he's going to be coming out. And it's going to be tricky of when he comes back out and where the rest of the field's going to be. Right now, looking like Trenton Jump, Braxton DeWeese, and that group that came in all together. I mean, what an odd collection of drivers. Looking back at, the Adrenaline League that we used to cover on LSRTV that came to a conclusion. These 3 drivers, that of Trenton Jump, Braxton DeWeese, Matt Dyer, these 3 were battling for, a shot for a championship. Championship was won by Trenton Jump. And now Trenton Jump for his second race in the SNB Cup Series, the 03, the 46, running well currently. But, looking at this 3-car pack, you would not think that these 3 drivers would work with one another. But because of the team and kind of the shakeup that's been going on throughout this season, Braxton DeWeese no longer with High Five Racing. Matt Dyer seeing the CEM Motorsports team kind of dissolve here in the last couple of weeks after the 2-week break. It's now opened up opportunities and teamwork and allies to grow in the most unexpected ways here.
Yeah, and now, we're sitting here looking at these top 3 and seeing Matt Dyer in this 3rd place. I'm really, really looking to see Matt have a good race. Not to trash talk him any, but, he hasn't had the best of luck in this series. However, me and you were sitting watching the other day where he was racing in another league, and he was leading the thing. So I know he's got the talent. He just needs luck, and, Lady Luck is all over this place. Hopefully she's riding along with that bald Mr. Clean, number 88 tonight to help put that car in victory lane.
Yeah, you think of last season in the SNB Cup Series. Matt had almost 3 or 4 shots to win last season at the mile-and-a-half courses, and it just seemed like it was an odd-tire strategy where he just got a late caution that threw him under the bus, even though he had a strategy call that could have won if they stayed green. It felt like that happened so many times, and those are the little luck moments that we always touch on. And for that of Matt Dyer, this season, I feel like there's only been maybe 1 or 2 races where he's really shown pace to win. That pace that we saw last season kind of fell off, but that's what comes with the iRacing updates that have been coming in throughout, last season to now. There's been about 3 major iRacing updates that have really changed how these cars react, and right now the 88 looking for a shot to redeem himself as the 8 of Braxton DeWeese, though. It doesn't matter how the cars change, it seems like. This 8 always finding the speed, and I think for Braxton DeWeese, it comes from the practice that he puts in every single week, trying to make sure that he's the best out here for the SNB Cup Series. He's the reigning champion, trying to defend his championship, and he has a shot after winning last week, and trying to continue on his speed as they're catching up to some lap traffic.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see how they get around blue. That's Eric Stamp. Yeah, it is in the 69 machine that they're coming up on the back end of, as you can see right there. They're catching him, and from the way it looks like Trenton Jump may be just going to kind of work with him. Let him stay out front. I am not opposed to this strategy, Sam. It's a good one. If he's just as fast, he's just maybe a lap car because of how pit strategy works, run with him. It's another car in the draft.
Yeah, just adding to this group is going to be helping them out. Right now, just this 3-car group that is now 4 cars. They've got a 4.5 second lap gap lead over 4th place of Jacob Grant. And hey, the more the merrier. I think it's when you get over 10 drivers in a line where things get a little bit more scuffed for that group, just because the more drivers, as you can see, that second group, just too wide action. And when they're too wide, they're losing speed. The more drivers in line, when you've got more and more drivers in line, that means there's less drag, more speed will be built up. But when you got drivers side by side, the wind does not like that turbulence that builds up, and it actually slows down the cars. So they need to get in line, but you see Altus getting pushed up and moved out of the way as this group finally getting in line and recognizing, hey, it might be time to go, even though the lap's ticking away and we're getting closer and closer to that comp caution.
Yeah, comp caution going to be coming out very soon, and there they cross the line. Is lap 28. The pits will close, which is kind of interesting. Usually it closes the lap before. It's actually closing 2 laps before for these guys. So the next time by, pit lane will close. They will not be able to come down at that point, which doesn't matter because everyone should be good on fuel. But I'm with you. I'm watching this second group, and then you've got this front group right here. If they can stay together, they stand a good chance, but they're actually not that tightly bunched. And we did get a little tidbit of a nugget of information from a racer that races these cars on the Northwest Cup Series, and he said with this new aero package, it's actually a lot harder for these guys to actually get, right up on their bumper. So they actually have to stagger a little bit. So that could be interesting later when these cars do stagger like that a little bit. If you happen to get to their bumper, you could get a bumper hook that way too.
Yeah, and if you watch real life racing and watch, you hear the phrasing of dragging the brakes. It's when you're going full throttle and you just touch the brakes a little bit. That's dragging the brakes. And when you're doing that, it slows your car down just enough to allow the car behind you to get inside and start giving you a little bit of a bump draft. As you can tell by Trenton Jump and that of Eric Stamp, they're not making contact with one another. There seems to be a little bit of an air bubble in between those cars, and if you want to get inside and actually bump the driver in front of you, you do have to do that, dragging the brake to allow that front driver to slow down, get right on the back bumper and the front bumper to make contact of those front 2 cars. And if you want a whole line to be together, everyone has to be in unison, talking with one another, and be completely in line and drag the brake at one to make sure you all get in line. But usually you just stay with these big pockets and groups so you don't make any major mistakes. As you see this second group, they are closing quickly, as it is now less than 4 seconds and closing almost 3 seconds as we're getting closer and closer to that comp caution.
Yeah, they are coming to the line, and I believe it should be, if we've learned anything, it's when they cross the line to start lap 30, we should see the caution come out momentarily after, and they just crossed right there, and like clockwork, Sam, the caution is out for that competition caution.
Yeah, and I think Bryson DeWeese recognizing what was going to happen there and trying to get in front. I think with the timing of that yellow, Jump might have been just ahead, but they're really close between those two, as we're going to see this pack get closer to one another. And, hey, 30 laps down, still quite a ways to go. And now it's time to see, once we go green, will the aggression level ramp up? Or will everyone do exactly what we just saw there for that first stint of staying in line, coming into pit road, and whoever makes the best strategy there gets to go out and be up front and be that lead pack?
Yeah, we, there's only a few things we do know. We don't know how it's going to ramp up. We don't know what these guys are going to do. We don't know when the big one's going to happen. The one thing I do know, Sam, and you know this as well, is we got bills to pay. That means we got to thank some sponsors.
Yeah, big thanks to all of our sponsors. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, pit road's going to be extremely busy, and we can't wait to watch the action. Who's going to gain and lose positions? You'll find out here quickly on LSRTV.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, SNB Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it and then you can listen to it on CRN, the community radio network at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, right? Our Ram trucks, truck of the year, amazing trucks. We have fun Jeeps, and then the exciting Dodge and Chrysler products. Lots of performance there, lots of excitement there. They've done a great job in really creating a full scope product line that could suit everybody's needs. Whether it's a family vehicle or a fun vehicle or a utility type vehicle or a big truck, we've got it all for our customers.
All right, Sam, we are back. Pit stop's already done. Commercial break took longer than we thought. So, hey, we got to thank those sponsors. But overall, I think a very good stop for these guys. I don't see anybody with any issues. I do see a couple, Zachary Stone and Eric Stamp still on pit road. But notably here, Sam, 7 seconds, 9 seconds, 9.6. We had 2 or 3 drivers there that only took fuel, no tires on that stop, which really isn't that big a surprise.
No, it's really not. Super Speedway racing is not very hard on the tires, so it means you actually can do 1, 2 to sometimes 3 stints on one set of tires. And you know, the advantage of coming in pit road, it allows you, and taking tires, that is it allows you to have a little bit more grip for, you know, making a very aggressive moves of dashing high, then dashing low, and making sure you've got the grip to really stick those turns. But otherwise, it's really not that important to get fresh rubber. But, you know, with that being known, drivers can gain positions, as up front, it's going to be that of Jacob Grant taking the lead spot when it was Braxton DeWeese and Trenton Jump that were up front. And DJ Daniel as well, gaining positions and splitting up Trenton Jump and Matt Dyer. So a lot of shuffling went on where drivers are going to be placed. But hey, it just means things are going to be a lot more interesting for the drivers that didn't take tires on this stop. They might be forced to take tires whenever they come into pit road under green, if we get an under green pit stop.
Yeah, and obviously based on that 18 to 21 laps, we would expect to see these guys somewhere around, I would say, 50 to 52-ish. My napkin math is good, and well, I wasn't the greatest in math, so we'll see. But actually, that'd be about 48 to 52, really. We should see these guys coming back down pit.
Yeah, and with that timing of whenever they have to come in again, might be putting them in a 2-stop position from here on out. That's what, you know, lowering the fuel percentage can do, is it'll make where drivers have to make sure they are perfect coming into pit road, where you can make mistakes, get caught speeding. And I think that's where we got caught up with Eric Stamp and a couple of other drivers caught speeding, and now they have to find a way to recover. Going to be further back. Eric Stamp, one of those drivers when we were before the green flag pit stop, up front, running right behind DJ Daniel. The 969 all the way back, second to last in the field, going to be in 20th. So some of these drivers that were up front, well, now they got to make a recovery rebound really right now to get themselves back up front for a shot to win the race.
Yeah, definitely. You want that shot to win. You know, I believe the phrase, a little quote from the movie Miracle, the hockey movie, from Great Opportunity or something like that. I don't know. It had been a while since I watched it. Was it like great moments are born from great opportunity? Something like that. So that's what these guys need. They have to put themselves in a great position if they want a great result. So, you know, timing is everything. Get yourself up to the front at the right time. You know, I'm with you. I think maybe we're going to see them get a little more aggressive now. Do they probably need to? Probably not. They could probably hang in there and just relax, for another 60 laps or, 50 laps at least. But these guys want to be up front. They want to lead laps. So I don't think we're going to see them too terribly calm. But, yeah, they might be a little calm. We'll see.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those moments where you're going to have to find your teammates, set up, get prepared. Who do you want to work with from this moment to the end of the race unless a caution happens? Because you got to make sure you are perfect on pit road. Otherwise, you might be seeing your shot to win here at Talladega be snuffed out. Well, our caution is over. It's time to race to the end. We are green here for the SNB Cup Series. Braxton DeWeese get great sheet. DJ Daniel on the outside. We'll see if they got enough momentum. Braxton DeWeese automatically dropping down. It's Caleb Smith, DJ Daniel stuck on the high line, and we'll see it go, or if they're moving backwards.
Yeah, they are definitely moving in the wrong direction. Backwards is not the way you want to go, and we'll see. I'm curious, Sam, how long it's going to take these guys to single file out like they did earlier. It took them about 5 laps, and they were single file up in the front 10 drivers. And they're starting to do that, but I don't think this single file is by choice. I really think it's more of because the outside lane just doesn't have the momentum. They don't have but 5 cars, and that's why we're going single file. I don't think this is because they're choosing to go single file this early.
Yeah, I mean, I threw it out when I came into the booth, right? It's kind of a trust fall in some sorts. You got to trust the drivers that are behind you. If you want to move forward, everyone has to be in the same tune. Want to go, and if you're not together, you're back quick. As someone else trying to choose where they go and caution out. But man, this race.
And taking a look, there are multiple cars involved. And it looks like it's going to be Sherwood and Brakey involved in this one. As we will go take a quick look and see what happened. Take a look at your Pulse Poppers instant replay. We may have to go back just a bit further on this one. As looks like Altz is involved as well. And this was a mid-pack incident. We'll have to wait and see. Again, we know Rob Sherwood, Altus involved in it, and one more driver, Brakey. So, what in the world happened here? And there you see a little contact. Oh.
Yeah, Papa Smith into Sherwood, and that's the big thing when you're side by side. Just the smallest contact can ruin a whole entire pack's day, and because these drivers going close to 200 miles per hour through the corners. Just one little contact can blow your engine up, and that's what you're seeing from all the puffs of smoke. As Altus, his engine was gone, and drivers trying to chase their way to pit road to get service done. But that is a big blow for the drivers that were further back.
Yeah, and what this does do for these guys that are up front, like DeWeese, Grant, Jump, it just basically makes it, 1, you have a little bit more fuel now because you're under caution, and 2, this is less laps that you have to try to fend those guys off in this race. As we have right now 59, going to make it 58 at the line. Laps to go. 35 have been completed. Let's be honest. I'm going to be honest with you here. Say 35 laps completed, going to be 36 at the line. It's going fairly quickly, or at least it was going fairly quickly here for Talladega out of this 94-lap race. Excuse me, and, well, then caution started.
Yeah, I mean, that's ramp up of aggression, right? And also, we're at a super speedway track where drivers, sometimes they aren't being up front and knowing how to up front, giving a shot to work with some drivers like, a Chris Smith, who's not usually a driver we touch on that's going to be up front at mile-and-a-half short tracks or any of the other tracks besides super speedways. And 55, just try to get a little bit close, aggressive, similar thing for the 22 of Sherwood. And it was just a small little bump, and away the carnage went. And with this pit stop, interesting to see some drivers coming into pit road to get service done, one to get repairs done for themselves, others just topping off with fuel. And the majority of drivers that just came in, all from the High Five Racing crew or drivers that have made alliances with High Five all coming in. And that was the one thing I was going to be concerned about. If a driver came in by themselves just to top off, that's a great decision if you're further back at some of the shorter tracks besides, Daytona or Dega. But here, you cannot top off unless you're with a group. And you saw a full group coming in and all going to be further back in the field. But hey, if you know you're going to be pitting later than everyone else, this isn't a bad call at all.
No, it's definitely not a bad call to go in and top off on fuel. If we keep seeing these cautions, there will be a point in this race when you top off on fuel and you're good to the end. Then you just have to worry about tires, and tires obviously not that really big of a deal. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see how this race plays itself out. A lot of races you can maybe predict how they're going to go. Daytona, Talladega, these races are not something you can predict. You don't know how they're going to go. You don't know, even based on if you had qualifying, time trials, whatever it may be, you can't use that as really a prediction of how it's going to go because anything can happen. We could see the 46 bump Braxton DeWeese, spin him out, and take out the whole field. You never know what is going to happen here when you come to a plate track race, because it's just that. It's so unpredictable.
Yeah, it's unpredictable, the unknown, and any driver really shot to win, especially when white flag flying. You never know. You might see a front runner is taken out, everyone else following him is added into the mix, but this is some of these drivers' last chances to really get a win and have a shot at the championship. Because only 4 drivers or 8 that are left in the playoffs get to move on. We know Braxton DeWeese is moving forward. Jacob Grant, Ross Tatum, they were in pretty good spots for themselves. But they're going to need still solid days today because we're going to Phoenix next week where some drivers feeling a little bit more comfortable going to that course. I feel like Ross Tatum, he has to be feeling very comfortable for himself, but I'm interested on how Matt Dyer, Evan Coleman, how they're going to be able to try to conquer Phoenix next week because Matt Dyer, Eric Stamp, Coleman, Joshua Altus, all 4 of those drivers outside of the top 4, they need good days here today, and they also need a little bit of help of the drivers that are inside of the top 4, that of Jacob Grant, Ross Tatum, and Logan Brakey to have off days as well.
Yeah, you're always hoping your competitor has an off day. That is best case scenario for you. Later on tonight, we'll see if you are able to make it or not. Obviously, having to do things a little different here. We're rigging things together for tonight. But the point standings close here. They are extremely close in the Northwest Truck Series. I know there's a couple of positions that are tied. And then there's 3 positions that are separated by 1 point apiece. They're in there, so those points standing super close in the Northwest Truck Series. They're close here, but not quite as close. But like you said, you really want to have a good day, and you want to have a good day on the day that your competition's having a bad day. That is optimal for you, because then you can get that padding a little bit, or obviously get a win and make sure you're in. But if you can't win, a big pad on points is a good day.
Well, every driver looking for every single point, and now how do you got to be involved in that track, be involved in another one. They want to make sure those cars stay clean and green, and now one of the longest wait times you have to wait as a driver. They're going through the triangle here at Talladega, but they all get set up, get a little bit past the restarts, and great once again is Trent Jump, Braxton DeWeese, as well as they've got Zach Peterson, Matt Dyer, as they're going to be trying to make their moves forward. But Peterson trying to get down, have the real moment to come down at all. But Dyer given enough space, Trent Jump able to drop down, and driver stuck on the outside. Fall back quickly, that of Robbie Helms. Zach Peterson, nowhere to go as they go backwards.
Yeah, I'm interested that Trent Jump dropped down as quickly as he did. I'm sure he didn't want to fall backwards, but, when you come to a race like this, if I was Matt Dyer, Trent Jump, and even Ross Tatum, I would have probably tried to team up and get on that outside and get by Braxton DeWeese. He's always a dominant driver anyway, and he's out front right now, so I would have tried to possibly push him back a little bit, because as you can see right now, you get back to about 5th place, 6th place, there's a little gap. Oh, and just somebody getting turned.
No. There goes Zach Peterson on the inside. Nowhere to go. Gets clipped and he's drafting back up. Logan Brinkey somehow not being collected. But Peterson, he's got to back up. He's trying to force the issue by going up the hill. This could bring out a yellow. But he needs to continue to back up. Get on the flat surface so you can get going. But try to bring out a caution. Not able to get it. And now Peterson losing ground and burning up a lot of rubber by burning out there.
Yeah, he is smoking the track out, so it won't be any mosquitoes over in that corner for a while as he burns those tires off. And, you know, one thing he did successfully, the caution didn't come out very successfully because there was no other cars around, but what he did do is the rubber on those tires, he's going to have a lot less now sitting there burning it, trying to go up steep hill. Because, you know, I haven't done a whole lot of racing on here, and I don't know how much you've done, Sam, but you are not driving up the embankment of this track.
No, when you are stuck sideways, you have to back up and go onto the apron where it's a flat surface. You can spin around. You can try to force the issue, but all you're doing is just wasting rubber and time. As you saw there, Peterson finally got down low enough for him to go backwards. But as we got to see the fun of what was going on with the 96, who now is in trouble of going a lap down, everyone's back in line. Charles, this is right where we're just in the line, picking and choosing where they want to go. And Matt Dyer on the back bumper of that of Trent Jump. It's a big enough run. He could try to set it to the outside, but I think everyone's recognizing, hey, this isn't the last lap. We don't need to make a big move just yet. Let's stay together. Let's try to make some moves and position gains under our pit stops. Then we'll try out this race at the end.
Yeah, definitely. You know, wait till the end. That's best case scenario. As you see on the little sidebar ticker there, you have kind of groups, you know, little pockets of playoff drivers. Well, that's what we'll call them, the pockets of playoffs. You have Dyer and Tatum together. Then you have Grant, Stamp, and Coleman together. And Altis and Brakey, well, they're just a little further back there, not together. And, of course, Deweese out front, separated by Jump. So, again, they're in their own little pockets and groups right now. They're all still pretty much in the same group right here. You'd have to go a little further back here to see that second group. That's just 4 cars, so I don't see these guys catching up too terribly quick. Not with these guys being in a straight line. They could catch them. They do have a pretty fast line, and I don't think they're completely out of that draft. Because you got to be way far back to really be completely out of the draft. So they may catch them. We'll see. That's something I'm going to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, for the draft, I mean, you have to be, when you're within 6/10 of the driver in front of you, you're getting the full power of the draft and just mounts up more. But when you're about second back, you've got just a hint of that draft that's helping you. But for you to utilize the little boost that you're getting from the draft, you have to be smooth. If there's any wobbling or shuffling that you do on the straightaway or in the corners, basically having that little bit of help a second back isn't doing anything for you. You are actually going to be losing. So you have to be within 7 to 6/10 to really utilize the draft. So that second pack that we were seeing up from Zachary Stone, they're just a little bit farther back, but starting to get some help from DJ Daniel that's falling back to help these guys out. But up front, all in line, and mostly looking at that of Braxton Deweese, just leading this group as they pull away. And Braxton, we already know the 8. He's moving the championship forward to defend his championship and trying to become the first driver in SNB Cup Series history to win 2 champions and go back with them. This 8 machine won 7 races so far this season, going for win number 8 if you can get it done here. And then you fall back to Matt Dyer. Dyer coming out 3rd in the regular season in points, and currently right now 5th spot in points, 6 points out coming into today's race. The 88 needing a solid run, 0 wins, best finish has been 2nd 3 times this season. Just has fallen short so many times. 6 top 5s, 13 top 10s, tied with the most top 10s. There's a lot of drivers actually that are about 5 drivers that are all have 13 top 10s, which is the most. As you see, Trenton Jump only in Jump second start of the season. This 46 team trying to get his possibly first win in the SNB career, as Trent Jump, one of those drivers that could have really had a good shot to win possibly this season if he showed up for every single race. But now we're seeing the surge. Talked about that group that was coming at speed, that being Zachary Stone. You touched on the fact that he was maybe not outside of the draft. Well, watch out. Here they come. They've caught up. They've got a surge. They're high enough. Zachary Stone up to second, and here comes the rest of the drivers. It's Altis as well as Eric Stamp on the outside, making the move that you don't really get to see very often, but they found the run, and now side by side for the lead, Zachary Stone is your point man.
And there you see on board side by side. We'll go back to Braxton DeWeese's point of view here, and you can see he's pushing him. Oh, a little shot there. 44 did duck down, and he gives him a nice shot in the shorts right there. Here comes Altis one more time. Again, these guys are duking it out right now. And we knew that line wasn't too far out, and they're showing right now they've got a lot of energy in that solar energy, number 94. It looks like he's going to take the lead now. Possibly, maybe. Will he duck down is the question.
You got to give a huge thanks to DJ Daniel. Daniel fell back, gave this group their surge, and now they're moving forward. And the way that they're moving is because they're not completely side drafting on top of the drivers to their outside. When they're on the straightaways, they move away from that other groove, trying to give enough space so either lane isn't side drafting one another. If you get close enough to the other driver next to you, you're actually slowing each other down. If you back up, go to the high line, and go far enough away from the other drivers, you can run with a massive momentum to get up front. And that's what Altis, Stone, and now hoping to be Eric Stamp and Caleb Smith as we're on board with the 12. They're getting this surge, and I think they learned this a little bit from some of the best that are some of the best on iRacing at Super Speedway Racing earlier today, showing a clip from last night's race. Malik Ray from the eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series showed a clip of his team working together and making that line move. You don't get to see her very often, but when you get enough drivers in line that trust each other and are willing to move forward, you get these massive runs that you can make on.
Yeah, you definitely do. And you notice, you see that green bar, other than the green one that we've been green for several laps here, is Braxton DeWeese. Going from first to sixth, just like that, he gets shuffled back. And the more that outside lane builds, the stronger it gets. He's just going to drop even more. You know, the one thing we haven't seen here, Sam, is 3 wide. We have yet to see any 3 wide action. And if we don't see 3 wide, we're not going to see that sucker hole possibly come into play where someone really falls back. So, you know, we always ask, when will we see the big one? Well, when will we see 3 wide? That really increases those chances of the big one happening.
Oh, you almost saw the big one as the 44 Stone absolutely given enough space. It might be put in that middle hole. As we here they go, 3 wide. Tatum on the, that's going to be on the out and making the move. Going to be, I believe, that is the 22 making the charge on the outside as they are just piling through, trying to make 3 wide work. But it's going to be that of Stone, able to move forward as that of Sherwood, falling back with no friends in that 3rd lane.
Yeah, you know, I ask and I shall receive. Where's 3 wide? Well, we got it. It just didn't last very long as Rob Sherwood going to fall backwards very quickly. And Rob is on the lead lap. He's now in 14th. We'll see how that one all plays out. As this battle goes on, this battle kind of fizzled out here. You got a 4-car breakaway once again. You know, it's not the same order or the same cars, Sam, but just like the last long green flag run we had, we're starting to see that 4-car breakaway.
Yeah, and the reason why we're seeing this 4-car breakaway is because of that side draft I was talking about. Drivers getting too close, staying side by side, and bogs down your speed. Now, if that group all gets in line, they can get a great run on these top 4 and make a pass easily, or at least catch up to them. But right now, with them being side by side, DJ Daniel not getting in line, they're not making as much speed and as much closing on this front 4, but certainly we're expecting that gap to close in quickly once everyone gets in line. But Charles, we touched on the fact that pitting big here. Well, we caution a little bit of lap going down the road. Soon to get busy here. 3 laps.
Yeah, pit road is definitely going to get busy here in the next few laps. To be honest, I thought maybe we would see someone down already. But we're not quite there. This stint is 16 laps for your top 3. I would be willing to bet you look at this group right here. They're coming down this time on pit road. We're showing a stint of 21 for right now. Braxton DeWeese all the way down to Robbie Helms in 10th place. So my guess is this group's coming down this time. We'll see if I'm right, if I'm wrong, if I'm clueless. We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, for most of those drivers, though, you got to remember they were not leading, so they were in line, able to sit more fuel, so they were able to push it out for another lap or 2. But now, as we had those pacing laps of the drivers that did not come to pit road, able to clutch or even shut off their cars so they could save as maximum under seeing that first yellow. And this group in line trying to figure out where they want to place themselves, but right now, this is kind of a scary moment. You've got over 10 cars that are in this group, and if you've got over 10 cars all coming to pit road at once, it is chaos. There's just not enough space for all the cars. You got to fan out, give each other plenty of space when you come into pit road, and this is going to be a very moment. We might contact coming into pit road as another lap goes by, but pit road about to get very busy here shortly.
Yeah, well, it's just a matter of when they come down. But like you said, it's going to be a busy, busy pit road. And, the more busy pit road is, the more chances you have of making a mistake, missing your pit stall. You only got a little guy with this little lollipop out there saying, come visit me. But unfortunately, it's not, a lollipop like you can eat. But, hey, it's still considered a lollipop. He's out there waving it, trying to get you to come in. So you don't have a whole lot of cues to know when to go into your stall, so you have to be paying very close attention. You can't just pull in there sideways. You have to pull in there where that crew can change the tires, and here they come down. And as I figured, this first group that had the most laps on the stint are the first ones to come down.
Ooh. Yeah, they are, and you saw a lot of brakes and tires being locked up, trying to make sure you do not get caught speeding pit road. Only 55 miles per hour. You got to go from over 190 to 180 miles per hour down to 55 miles per hour in just about 5 or 6 football fields. Not a lot of time to make those decisions to come into pit road. And also got to make sure you don't slide on your pit stop, as you're already seeing everyone just taking fuel, getting back out there, as that was all that of Zachary Stone, DJ Daniel, Ross Tatum, and Will Busler all going to be getting their service done, getting back out. And, it was just a 4-car group, but we've seen 4-car groups have a lot of speed. Speaking of our front 4, Eric Stamp, Caleb Smith, Joshua Altis, Braxton, they're still away from that second pack. Really, seeing a mixture of only 4 cars coming to pit road really slowed down that. Some drivers had to let off, some just saw that pocket of air build up even more with drivers just disappearing.
Yeah, drivers just been going in. I'm interested about that group, but I'm interested about that back group as well. So that's someone we'll keep an eye on. And keep in mind to just, 1 lap down on lap 54, Chris Smith. Looks like he is possibly done here. He's sitting on the pit road at the moment, and you can see there's nobody in that car. The cockpit has been abandoned. So it looks like his night is possibly done here as well.
Yeah, I saw in the telemetry that I might have gone off track, then into pit road. Pack drivers coming in. It's going to be 5 drivers coming in this time going to be led by Robbie Helms, Jacob Grant, Keenan Massey, Evan Coleman, Thomas Fisher. This is part of the High Five group, and some Alliance drivers joining in, getting service done. But you're seeing everyone coming in, trying to get as much service done. We'll see if they take tires, because we saw that first group only taking fuel and out, and once again, fuel and out for most. Robbie Helms, gonna be getting a little bit of tires and repairs done on the 18, so he might fall back from the rest of his team that just getting out now.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit about teammates and luck as we see this front group coming in. Something else is someone's coming in way out there. They're going to check it up. They make it, though. If you have a team, you also have some alliances, and you pick your alliances over your teammates. How does that fare for you next time we go into the next race? Is your teammates going to work with you as much if you choose your alliance partners over your actual team partners?
I mean, at this point, it's everyone's game on what you want to do. I think this is when things get selfish, right? This is playoffs. This is all about you winning a championship. And so if you feel like choosing an alliance over your teammate is going to get you a win and a shot to win a championship, if you're part of those 8 drivers that are in the playoffs, you're taking whatever your strategy is going to get you a win. And right now, up front, it's that of Brockton Packard, Logan Brakey, Caleb Smith, and Eric Stamp that are up front. 2 of the drivers that are up front that are, looking at this group right now that still need to come into pit road, that being Brockton Packard and Logan Brakey. I mean, for Packard, could have been racing for a playoffs and a championship, but defaulted out of it, giving his position to Evan Coleman. And Packard now having to come into pit road, it looks like, but he is coming in very quickly. This 24, got to be careful, and it slides, an unsafe pit entry, and somehow doesn't hit that pit wall.
Yeah, that was an interesting entry to begin with. He came in way hot, but wow, what a save on top of that, as he's going to get in there. And again, he was scheduled to be our trainee here in the booth, and then, Mother Nature had other plans, or whatever you want to call it, had other plans for the broadcast. I'm just thankful, we got you on a backup plan here for this race. Let's be honest, 94 laps by yourself, that is a long night of racing.
Yeah, I think I've done, 80 or 100, somewhere in that range by myself for Xfinity race once, and that was not fun. I did not want to put you during that torture, but we jerry-rigged it, taped all of our equipment together, and we figured out a way to make sure I was in the booth with you, and luckily, everything's holding steady for now. We hope that it continues on. As you see, what once was a group of 4, now to a group of 3. Smith now joining the fray. It's Caleb Smith, Eric Stamp, and Josh Altus going to be your front 3 drivers currently. And about almost 2 seconds back, a little bit under that, you find Jacob Grant and others joining suit back there. But Charles, another green flag pit stop. A lot of drivers coming in. I think the only driver that had an issue was Chris Smith. And everyone else, somehow, re-looking at it, looked like Brockton Packard not caught speeding or unsafe pit entry. 24 comes out great for himself, but he's all the way back in 17th. But up front, it's these top 3. And of the 3 that are up here, I think right now Eric Stamp as well as Altus both eyeing a win. But both drivers outside the top 8 and both kind of wanting to just get that win so they have the pressure off of having to do well next week at Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm looking at timing and scoring right now, and this is basically a Smith sandwich right now. Just as in case anyone doesn't know, you've got Caleb Smith up at the top, and you got Chris Smith down at the bottom. So whatever you want to call it, a train, a sandwich, whatever your comparison is, you got one Smith at the top and one Smith at the bottom.
Yeah, Smith, if he's back home, team-wise, he was, at the start of the season, had to make a change on a different team, and made the change to go to CEM Motorsports, create a brand new team after being on High Five Racing and kind of being removed from that team. And this 12 showed that he had pace, always was showing that he could get wins, got a win for CEM Motorsports, and then a little bit of a bickering and some miscommunications and misunderstandings, but at the same time, felt like it was best for the team. CEM Motorsports going to be closing up their shops after this season is over because Caleb Smith was one of the founders, the CEM. With him no longer being part of the team, Evan Colvin, Matt Dyer, those 3 being the drivers that form that CEM Motorsports team, disbanding, and now we find Caleb Smith back home. He's on High Five Racing, and he's now having a shot to get a win with his second race back with the team. I mean, what a way to get a back-home party for himself.
Yeah, it's always good to go back home and do good. You know, you got to represent as best you can, and that's what he is doing right now, leading this race. And you see 1, 2, 3, then a little space, then you have 1, and then you have like the 5th, Evan Coleman. He's leading the charge for that second group. A group of cars he's got looks like that is being scored Zachary Stone in the next position, but there is actually some cars wrapped up in this one that are not in the actual positions. So kind of a mixed bag right here. Lap cars, non-lap cars. And sorry, no, that is incorrect. Did not see that. It is the 52, 51, and 44. So like Wesley does a lot, fake news.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the mud brown that's being ran by Jacob Grant, and I'm not surprised you missed it. You're a dirt guy. You love dirt racing, so you just expected it to be part of the ground. But the 52 is leading this group. Evan Coleman in second with Zachary Stone. And you see the rest of the pack. They're all in line. Zachary Stone, actually, that last lap just put down the fastest lap of the race. And that fastest lap really isn't something, you know, that you really touch on most of the time when you're at a super speedway race, because you're in the middle of a pack, and when you're in the middle or in the back of the pack, that's when you can put down the fastest lap because you're getting the most boost from the draft. But they are coming up with a lot of speed, and now a decision on where to place themselves. It's going to be Joshua Altis, who gets bullied out of that third place position and now falling back with no help. The question is, what's going to happen up front? Because it looks like Jacob Grant feeling comfortable following that of Eric Stamp and Caleb Smith, as they are kind of being allies at the moment, working with her, because it seemed like the 52 with the run he had could have pulled everyone to the outside and easily could have made a pass.
Yeah, he definitely could have. And, you know, you speak of the 44, I was talking to him, talking about his ride to a couple of drivers prior to the race starting, and I don't think it's a paint job from a real race car, but, you know, the car, I called it a rolling billboard of announcements. You've got Shell, Marlboro, Tic Tac, FedEx. It just looks like a hodgepodge of different logos. It's kind of thrown on the car. You know, usually you see, you know, all FedEx. But you know, interesting to see Marlboro on the side, Shell on the hood. Usually those are the same, but he's proving, regardless of what on the car, he's still having a fairly good night here in 5th place.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the scheme, it reminds me of with the placement of where some of the sponsors are. I mean, it kind of looks like an older, you know, Ferrari F1 scheme that kind of got modified into, you know, putting his own style on a cup car here on iRacing for that of Zachary Stone in the 44. But, you know, everyone has their different styles on how they want to make some of these schemes. I mean, we've seen some drivers switch what scheme they're running each and every week, and sometimes they put a lot of work into it. Other times they're just like, you know what, we're just going with my rough draft this week.
Yeah, you know, and I've even seen people go to the extent of using primer as their main color. So you're right. You never know what you're going to get with their paint job. Everybody has their own style. Again, not saying it looks bad. Just, you know, does kind of look like a Ferrari. Maybe, you know, an F1 or a GT3 kind of paint style job. But going back here a little ways to these guys, this is back 15th. 16th, 17th, they're not staying single file. They're actually battling a little bit here with Packard, Brakey, Helms, Fisher back here, Cootie back here as well. So these guys, they got their own battle going on, and you can see right there, they are nowhere near the front of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, I touched on the fact that, you know, some of the drivers of our top 4 coming into today's race, Matt Dyer, Stamp, Evan Coleman, and Joshua Altis, they needed someone that was in the top 4. I mean, 3 of the top 4 officially locked in, that being Jacob Grant, Ross Tatum, and Logan Brakey. They needed, you know, those drivers that were in the top 4 to have a mistake or have an off day. And where Logan Brakey's running right now, this is certainly an off day. Back in 16th position, and for Logan Brakey, he came in playoffs second best in points, just coming shy to Braxton DeWeese. And with Logan Brakey having 1 win, 5 top 5s, 13 top 10s, you would think that we would see the two having a little bit more of a consistent run, but because of the fact that himself and Brockton Packard stayed out a lap or two longer than the rest of the field did under that green flag pit stop that we just had back 57, we're now seeing the 24 and the 2 completely off pace, struggling right now back on 15th and worse. They're all just grouped up and hoping for a caution at this point if they want a shot to win this.
Yeah, and you're definitely right. It's pit strategy that has really, hurt them here. We know he was involved in the first caution. It was a big wreck involving him. Sherwood, Altus involved in it. But you can see that car is nice and pretty and clean. That's not affecting it. It definitely is coming down to strategy that has really put him in a bind. Caution would definitely help. We'll have to wait and see if one of those do come out. That being said, it is once again time to do some station identification, Sam, so we can thank those sponsors. What do you say? Go side by side and let these guys watch some action and little commercials at the same time.
Absolutely. Big thanks to all of our sponsors that we have here on LSRTV. Huge thanks to the SNB and all watching us. So we're quick commercials side by so you know here on LSRTV.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland, the face with the voice of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League that you hear simulcasted on the Community Radio Network. And that's what we want to tell you about. We are excited to continue the partnership of covering esports on CRN, just like we do with all the other broadcasts that I cover in real life, like MAV TV, Short Track America, Speed 51 TV, Fox Sports Radio for college, high school sports. The Community Radio Network does the same thing. In addition to broadcasting real athletics, we're excited to be the radio voice of LSRTV's coverage of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group, the American iRacing League, and special events along the way. It's very simple. On your web browser, laptop, tablet, or cell phone, go to wearecrn.com, click on play, and you are able to keep up with the action. It's very simple. The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Check us out when you can. Esports coverage from LSRTV on CRN, the Community Radio Network, wearecrn.com.
Every customer, every single time, needs to get our very best. From moment one, my goal managing a team here in the dealership is to make sure that that customer's experience is the very best that they've ever had. We expect and demand total transparency. There should never be a time in that transaction where the customer is wondering or not quite sure of what they're buying or what they're paying or those sorts of things. And having that transparency and doing things the right way is super important.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and it's been some good racing here so far. We've only had a handful of cautions. Sam, with those few cautions already on lap 73, this race is just ticking away very, very quickly, as we only have 20 laps to go when they get to the line. Do you think we'll see that late race caution? We really haven't seen the big one yet so far.
Yeah, I'm not expecting a big late caution unless it's going to be in those final 10 laps of today's race. I think right now we're waiting and looming for when we're going to be seeing the final pit stop for these drivers. We know that they've got one more, and this is going to be their money stop. What they're going to have to come in to make sure there's no sliding into their pit box. And the group that you come into pit road, If everyone as a whole has a perfect pit stop, gets back on the throttle, gets back up to speed perfectly, stay in line, that group could win you the race, but it's all about a group effort coming into this next pit stop. And that's the one thing that's kind of, is great about super speedway racing. It is a team effort on who gets the win. Yes, on that white flag, it's all about who can get it done. But to that point, it's all about the teamwork and how to get everyone in line and get up to speed so you're that lead pack when the white flag waves.
Yeah, no, speaking of packs here, it looks like possibly Matt Dyer and that is Altus going to possibly try to get something going on the outside lane. We have seen that outside lane work today. Not working here at the moment, and it's definitely not going to work when half the field comes down pit road.
Absolutely. This is a nightmare, being stuck side by side with someone. This is just losing time as DJ Daniel, that of Zachary Stone, as well as Will Bills are going to be coming in, as well as Ross Tatum coming in with this group. This is going to be the second group that just came into pit road. Leaving pit road is Thomas Fisher, Robbie Helms, and Zach Peterson. But this group that just came in, this is prime timing. I love this pit stop. When you see drivers behind you going side by side, they're battling, coming into pit road. You know you're good from this point on. When you get this splash of fuel, just make sure you come in as a group. You don't make any mistakes, because that group, otherwise, they've lost so much time. I mean, Dyer, Altus, and that group, they got completely split up from the pack that's now coming into pit road. It's going to be Kilo Smith, Eric Stamp, Jacob Grant, and Evan Coleman all getting service done for themselves, as Altus, Keenan Massey, they stay out for another lap, as, oh boy, was that a lot of smoke that came up there.
Yeah, it was Braxton DeWeese that he just locked them tires up. And, when you lock those tires up coming down pit road, this has got to make you wonder, is he going to take tires? Because he just lit those puppies up. And we'll see. Yes. Oh, he is taking left sides, though. So, will that play a factor on that right rear tire where he lit it up, locking up the brakes coming down pit road? I don't think it'll be a big factor, but hey, you never know. It really just depends on how hot he got that tire and if he flat spotted it coming into the pits there. That'll be something we have to wait and see, but definitely not the pit stop he wanted to have to come in locking him up that hard. But this is really shaking things up now, as there's cars on the apron, on the track. They're all over the place.
Yeah, trying to maximize the amount of speed you can get. But also, I touched on the fact, this is the money stop. You cannot have any mistakes, and already two drivers have done just that. DJ Daniel, after being that first group of drivers that came into pit road, caught speeding, and he has just gone out of pit road just about a half a lap ago, while the rest of the group that he was with, they're now up front. And in pit road currently is Joshua Altus as well as Keenan Massey. They came in as only a two-car group. Another driver that was caught speeding, that of Zach Peterson, who was part of the first initial group to come into pit road. But we're now waiting on just 4 drivers to make their final pit stop, and those are your front 4 currently. That being Rob Sherwood, Trenton Jump, as well as Logan Brakey and Brockton Packard. Those 4 drivers have to come into pit road. And for Logan Brakey, this is another major issue for the 2 machine, but up front we're seeing it right now. Sherwood, Jump, they're still now coming into pit road currently with I believe that's the 55 of Chris Smith following suit behind him.
Yeah, I believe you are right, it is. And these guys just now coming in, I think you hit it perfectly. The prime spot was 19 laps to go. Had we been at a short track, or, a mile and a half, or had, 35, 40 cars on this track, I would think right now would be the prime spot to come in, because you'd have that extra fuel possibly for a green-white checkered. I don't think we're going to see that caution come out late in this race where, you might need those extra couple of laps of fuel if you choose not to come down pit road. So I'm with you. I think 19 to go was the perfect time to come in. You got got that fuel you needed, any tires you wanted, you're good to go. I think if you came in later than that, you kind of missed the golden opportunity.
Yeah, and we're seeing up front right now, right? We're seeing that of Logan Brakey, Brockton Packard. They're going to be having to come into pit road here shortly at some time, as well as you've got that of Andrew Cootie, who is about to go a lap down. But, watching these drivers currently, Matt Dyer, is the first of the drivers that already made a pit stop, and he's up front with this group that is pulling away from Evan Coleman. Dyer, soon to be a sitting duck once he sees these front three drivers in front of him have to come into pit road.
Yeah, this will be interesting. Could tonight be possibly, Matt Dyer's night? Could he put that Mr. Clean, number 88, in victory lane here tonight? It would be awesome, not to mention the fact that, he's overdue for a win, but all the struggles you've been having tonight to see him put it in victory lane would just be, kind of a cap to the night. To see him in victory lane would be awesome. So there goes his group, though, that he was working with. So this, that could hinder him a little bit. We'll see. It really depends on if the group that catches him sticks with him or if they just try to blow his doors off and go by him.
I mean, now that Dyer's by himself, he is going to get those doors blown off quickly. Unless you see Evan Coleman be nice and everyone else just follow behind. But now, a little bit less than a second and a half, they are closing in quickly. The miles per hour when you're by yourself compared to being with a group, it diminishes. It is a major boost when you're with a group. You're running anywhere from 12 to 15 miles per hour faster than a driver that's by themselves. And in a blink of an eye, they're already on Dyer's back bumper. The question is, do they pass the 88? And that's what they do. Going to the outside, Evan Coleman, as well as Caleb Smith, former CEM Motorsports teammates, now making the dash up front.
Yeah, and he did exactly what I think he needed to do. He tried to fill in that hole. He didn't quite get it filled in time. But if he had jumped up there in between the 44 and I believe that's trying to get a car number, the 20. If he could have got squeezed in between them, he might have been able to stay right there. Excuse me, but he does manage to get right behind a driver. It looks like Ross Tatum in the 21. So good news, he stayed with the draft. But it looks like he's not content with that. He's going to take 3 cars and take it to the outside lane.
Oh, Dyer's got his best people to have behind him. It's been the drivers that made the outside line work earlier. It's Braxton Deweese, and also as well that of Eric Stamp. And we've seen Eric Stamp be with the collection of cars and moving forward. This 69 machine knows how to get up front quickly. It's now on to Dyer. Can he give enough space between himself and the drivers below him so they're not side drafting one another, but maximizing their speed on these front stretch? The 88, he needs to get close to the outside wall, and so he can just motor by everyone that's on the inside.
Yeah, he's got the help he needs. Now he's just got to make it happen. And, I'm going to be honest, if he stays kind of where he's at right now for the next, say, 8 laps or so and just kind of hangs there, it's not that big of a deal. There's a lot of woes going on there with that one. But, you don't want to make that pass for the lead too soon. That is a crucial thing. So maybe hanging right where he's at in between there isn't all that bad until we get to those last 2 or 3 laps to go.
Yeah, that was a very scary moment. You got Zachary Stone, who just came in for today's race, and, it's Super Speedway Racing. You see a lot of newcomers coming in. Oh, boy, that's even a worse moment to have. As Tanner, then as well as Ross Taylor, they were inside of one another for a quick second there. That's what virtual racing can give you for a quick moment, is those quick scares. But Dyer probably was not expecting the 44, a newcomer, pressuring and almost making contact with a playoff driver. Those are nightmares to have, and you do not want to be caught up with a driver that is only here for a one-shot type of a night, taking out a driver that could have had a shot in a moment there to try to make a pass for the lead, and that could have been a winning move because it takes a long while to build up that speed and momentum to make it surge forward. And Dyer, he's running out of time here each and every lap.
Yeah, that was definitely, he is running out of time. And, we don't always talk about that little connection issue going on there because usually if you're at a mile and a half and sometimes short tracks, it's really not relevant to the thing. Here at a super speedway, if somebody, just vanishes on you and comes back and you're half inside their car when you're doing 190 miles an hour, it is very relevant to the situation. You're screaming at them, get better internet. Fix your car. It's broken. I'm inside of it right now. So it's very relevant here at Super Speedways. And like you said, a very, very scary moment when, you're possibly 2-3 wide, doing 190 miles an hour, and you don't know where the guy is in front of you or behind you.
Evan Coleman tried to make a move, gets shoved out, almost tried to find a spot behind Dyer, but made the move too soon. And now just trying to get some help from Eric Stamp. You're now seeing it, everyone trying to pick and choose where they want to place themselves, as Matt Dyer being the lead playoff driver right now on track with the laps ticking away. He's now has Ross standing behind him. Will they be able to make a move on two drivers that came in late? That'd be Will Burzel as well as that of Zachary Stone. Two drivers that have only shown up for that of Stone. First race here for the 20. He's been here a couple of times, but really hasn't shown speed to win unless we're here at Super Speedway races. It's now a shot, as now going to be seeing it, that of Kip Smith trying to hold where he wants to go, just stays low, as the 44 thought about going high, but just decided, you know what, let's not make the move too soon.
Yeah, now, you know, I'm sitting here watching this dynamic of how it's working, and I'm not sure if I'm Matt Dyer. I don't know if I like where I'm at right now, because, you know, if I had Smith, Stone, and Bushler behind me, I would like that scenario a little bit more if it's me. Because of the fact they're not in the playoffs, they might work with me. Look who's behind him. Tatum, Deweese, Coleman, Stamp. Those guys want to win. Are they going to be willing to actually push Dyer to a win? That's a scenario, you know, hey, I'm your buddy, I'm your pal, I'll give you a chicken dinner or something, but will you push me to the win? That's something we're going to have to really wait and see in these closing laps with 7 to go at the line.
You got to hope that you're with your friends or allies you can trust. And, you know, you look back from Dyer, you've got the two drivers that we've been touching on ever since the All-Star break of the season. Ross Tatum, that of Braxton Deweese. Two drivers that made contact, made a lot of aggressive, you know, undertones at one another. During the interviews, they were mad at one another, and I think there's still a little bit of aggression on both drivers on where they stand with one another. I don't see either one of them working with one another. Dyer, honestly, like you, doesn't any friendly people behind. He's going to need some help if he wants to try to get a win here, or hope that the driver him make a mistake, make a move too soon. He can just stay down low and utilize the draft to catch up to Caleb Smith.
Yeah, that draft can be your friend. It can hurt you at the same time. Again, already 6 laps to go. These laps are winding down. You know, again, I mentioned it earlier, a 94-lap race. That's the same distance the Coca-Cola Series ran for eNASCAR here. And they had nearly a 40-car field. I really figured this race would take a lot longer than it did, but it seems like it's just, you know, we're in and out. We're doing very quickly. It's only 8:30. For that matter, we've been racing for 1 hour and 24 minutes. Not even 2 hours, like I predicted. So very, very fast race. And I don't see that big one coming. I don't see another caution coming. You know, that being said, you know, what do you think the odds are here of seeing these guys get together in a late lap caution, say, you know, 2 or 3 to go? It's possible, but I'm saying maybe a 20% chance.
I think it's highly possible. I think there's about a 50-50 shot of there being a big one up front here in the final 2 to 3 laps of this race. And the reason why is you guys heard Caleb Smith, who's trying to get another win under his belt, trying to get his second win in SNB Cup Series, and you've got the 44 of Zachary Stone, who's here for just one race. Zachary Stone, I've seen him make a lot of delayed hesitation moves to try to go up front, but here comes the drivers on the outside. Eric Stamp, that of Braxton Deweese, trying to just make a surge by themselves, but they need just one more driver, 3 or more, and you can make the move forward, but they're just their goal, get by that of Ross Tatum, get by the 21, and make it some help from the 88 line. As they are not able to, get he's stalled out, but Dyer, he's going to be helpful, giving a tow. Here comes Deweese, and also Stamp, but Dyer does not commit to the outside, falls back in line.
Yeah, and at this point, he's kind of stuck there. He can't really commit. Now he could recommit if he wanted to. And, you know, these are where you could potentially see those very small likelihood of a caution coming out if somebody commits too soon. Too late, and they clip the front of another car. But they tried. It didn't work, as now you see the 8 of Deweese and the 69 go back down to the bottom, and they'll just try again. They're coming to 3 to go, though. Sam, I think I'm with the majority, and you may agree. We're coming up on go time. If you don't make a move soon, and there's a little hook right there, then you're going to be in trouble.
Ross Tatum able to hold on after a bump from DeWeese and right on the quarter panel. Luckily, they all stay in line. And now the leader's coming up the lap traffic. This is going to slow them down, give this group another shot. But yeah, with 3 laps to go, Charles, there's only 1 shot to go. You make your move on lap 2 or you make it on the white flag. You don't have an opportunity to make 2 attempts here. There's just not enough time to build up that much momentum. And here comes Ross Tatum, Dyer, others. They're now going to bob and weave. They're 2, almost 3 wide for a moment there. And it's 4 versus 4. Who's going to be placed where? Dyer leading the outside lane, having to choose where he wants to go. Stamp, he's just defaulting on the outside. And it's going to be a great move by that Ross Tatum Dyer as we're coming up to 2 laps to go. This race, we might see the big Vias wreck up front here, just slather move.
Yeah, I'm not sure what in the world. They went from, just 0 to about 100 there. It was complete calm, single file to zigzagging, all over the place. So, it almost looked like, as a little kid, Sam, when you're going out there and,
Whoa.
we got a wreck. Caution
Wreck the front. They're slowing down. It's that second group. Oh, man. And that's on that. We're going to overtime now.
We are going to overtime, and we said maybe the chance for the caution as we go back to a Pulse Poppers replay, possibly in the front. That is not where it happened. It happened in the second group, and there's your caution right there as the 2 of Logan Brakey hooks the 24 of Packard, spins him around, and the front group, they just split like a bunch of ants being stepped on. And, well, Sam, that explains why they scattered like that. We couldn't figure out at first.
Yeah, a quick scatter trying to get out of the way of Brockton Packard, and that is terrible for Brockton Packard as well for Logan Brakey, and I believe Rob Sherwood got a little bit of a nick on that, and all 3 drivers had already used their fast repairs, so they're now stuck with the damage they've got. But this now resets all the drivers that were up front. This went from just 8 drivers trying to pick and choose who was going to get the win to now resetting. We got the potential shot of 16 to 17 drivers with a chance to win today's race.
Now, see, now we're going to wonder on pit strategy. We know it's, 18 to 21 laps on fuel? Right now, you have somebody like Zachary Stone, Will Bushler, Ross Tatum, and a couple of others. They are 19, 20 laps on their fuel. Do these guys come down and top off on fuel? Or do you just say, we're under caution, we're going to save a little bit, let's just risk it and try to get that biscuit?
I mean, if you're right on the edge, we've already seen if you're able to save, well, you can go an extra couple of laps. But Dyer, Stamp, Coleman, all coming into pit road. We'll see who else follows suit. But I think these guys are recognizing, hey, we might have more than just 1 overtime attempt. Let's make sure we got fuel. So if there is a second attempt, those drivers have to come into pit road, and we are good to stay out front.
Yeah, and also, I don't think this is too terribly bad of a strategy. Not to mention the fact you're going to top off on fuel or get a splash of fuel so you're good there. But also, if we see another caution, my bet, as a betting person who doesn't really bet, I would be willing to bet that it's going to come from the front. You're now at the back of this field, which is only 20 cars deep. And actually, 21. There's 21 cars on track as Chris Smith is back, actually, 3 laps down. So you're not that far back, but you are far enough back. You have a very good chance of avoiding whatever happens up front.
But you also are now putting yourself in the hornet's nest. You're now in the middle of the pack. Matt Dyer going to have Logan Brakey right in front of him on the outside. So he's going to have to worry about that damage that Brakey has. How much is that damage going to slow down the 2 and might stifle the middle of the pack on back that's on the outside. But ladies and gentlemen, we are in overtime. We are going to be having, I believe, 2 or 3 attempts at this. Are we having 3 attempts there, Charles? I believe we have 3.
I believe it is 3.
So 3 attempts at overtime. The drivers are going to have what is technically, it's called a green-white checker. So you go green for 1 lap, then the next lap. If we get to the white flag, we race it to the end. But if we wreck during that first lap before we get the white flag, last lap of the race, we then go into our attempt. And similar strategy, if we do not get to the white flag on our second attempt. We get a yellow first. We then go to our third and final attempt, where if they get a yellow on that third attempt, the race ends under yellow. But we get the white flag at any point in these three attempts, we race to the end. It doesn't matter what flag we get until we get the checkered, which super speedway racing, it is going to be a lot of bumping. We're going to see drivers door smashing on that last lap if we get the white flag. But it's Caleb Smith, Zachary, Will Bustler, as Ross Tatum and Braxton DeWeese, your top five. Ross of Josh Altus, Jacob Grant, Keenan Massey, Logan Brakey, and Matt Dyer going to be the rest of your top 10. Matt Dyer in 10th leads the driver to top off. They're good for all three attempts. The rest of the drivers only good for one attempt, at that at most. So now the drama just builds up. Who can make it and who can't?
Yeah, the drama is intense and the lights are off, which means we'll get to see how it unfolds here in just 3/4 of a lap, as they're in turn number 1 right now. Gonna be 2 laps to go. Green, white, possibly white again. We'll see. The checkered, we don't know how it's gonna go, but we know for certain that we are at least gonna go into overtime. How far into overtime, that is yet to be determined. But you know, well, again, it's racing. It's one of those things you can't predict it. You know, tempers are gonna flare. People are gonna get run into, bump and bang. That's all part of the sport. And the only thing that can't be hit out here is the pace car. Unfortunately, they took that away. Otherwise, it may have had some damage too during this race.
Do believe, looking back, Logan Brakey might have been given a well penalty because of being involved in that last wreck, or might have asked for it because of the damage from a bumper that he has, as well as Andrew Cootie going to be getting your lucky dog position. So that's why we find the 2 back in 16th, and the 48 as well being the last car in line. And that means Matt Dyer moving up to 9th. He'll be on the inside row, having that of Jacob Grant, which the inside row, all these drivers, I'm expecting them to just stay in line and cross their fingers and hope. Outside, shoot forward, front, Kenneth, Zachary Stone. They're the drivers that whoever gets the best launch can get this win done. And honestly, if you're the front driver, you got to feel comfortable for yourself until you hit the backstretch, where drama is going to build up on who's going to make the final move.
Yeah, drama building up. And the pace car is diving off very slowly. It used to just dive off into the pits, but they actually sent the driver to school and told him, you need to take a little slower approach and just go down to the pits. That's what he's doing as we get set to drop the green one more time for the first time in overtime here tonight. Just chaos, I think, is what we're about to see here in just a moment. Green is out, and it is Smith leading them on.
Green flag is out, and the chance of one of our championship 8, or playoff 8, I should say, has a shot to lock themselves into the championship. Ross Tatum going to be on the outside, trying to get that of Zachary Stone moving, or get him high so he can duck down low and go through the middle. They're side drafting up front already, getting super close to one another, but on the backstretch, getting dinked and moved out of the way is Evan Coleman. But up front, it's Zachary Stone on the outside, a major launch for himself. The 44 to the lead as Caleb Smith falls back. Ross Tatum and others making that high line work, and they're moving.
Oh, we got him turning.
Oh, no! And they're all going to be sparking and
Caution's
wrecking
out.
and all wrecking. We're going to attempt number 2.
And that all started up with the 44 of Zachary Stone. I don't know if he was at fault, but he definitely got turned. Take a look here at one more Pulse Poppers instant replay. And we may have to go topside here with our All-American Pools coverage and see what happened. And right there, just bump drafting, got side by side, and it just it broke loose.
Yeah, you know, looking at the field and where they're at, I mean, Zachary Stone, I touched on it earlier, he likes to do a hesitation moves or kind of a delay to block or moves up and down. He had the space initially going into the corner to come down low, but hesitated, then try to make the move, and it was too late, trying to side draft in, away the 44 went. And that's the thing for, as you're right on board with Matt Dyer, to see his perspective as he almost got through this wreck cleanly, and I think he got hit on the side, but when you're a playoff driver, you're running down low, you're trusting your lane's going to be moving forward, and you see smoke, and this is the worst feeling. Back hard on the brake, seeing Deweese, seeing others, makes contact with Deweese, comes down low, kind of gets through, but you can see the front left fender, it's crinkled up. He has to come into pit road, get some damage repair, might have to use his fast repair, but the 88, great call on himself to come into pit road and get the fuel so he can make it to the end of this stint, but that damage backfiring his whole entire move, as everyone that did not pit previously coming into pit road to get service done.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to go back and watch on board with Matt, is God, he almost made it through. If he hadn't got that little bit of damage at the end, he would have been just sitting pretty and not have to come down pit road. Unfortunately, he does have to come down. But the good news is a lot of people ahead of him had to come down as well. Taking a look, he does have the fast repair. It's fixed. He's done. But we'll see where he stacks up when it's all said and done. But, someone who led quite a bit, Braxton Deweese, he's all the way back in 11th. So, this could potentially hinder his chances as well as Josh Altus, your race leader at the moment.
Yeah, leading the drivers out of coming to pit road, going to be the 5 DJ Daniels, and 7th on back. All had to come into pit road to get service. Excuse me, I take that back. It was actually 10th place of Ross Tatum that had to come into pit road. 10th on back, all involved in that wreck in some fashion or needed to get service done for themselves. As Joshua Altus that's up front, the 94, he is certainly risking it in this moment. Charles, last time that we saw the 94 was lap 77. We are now officially over 20 laps into this run. The 94, if we go into attempt number 3, he's going to be forced into pit road.
Yeah, he is definitely going to be forced because 18 laps on the stint for him. Of course, a lap of that has been under caution, but still, he's still just, running on fumes probably at this point. His crew chief has got to be telling him, come on, man, just bring it down. We need to fill this car up with some fuel. But he's not listening to that. He's got solar power. Maybe he's just going to run it off of solar energy.
Hey, just flip a switch, we're running low on power. Okay, let's go solar. We'll make it to the end. I think right now, that's hopefully what Josh is banking on, Get some solar panels on the hood, on the top of the car, and on the rear deck lid. Why not get a little bit of solar help? As Joshua Alta is going to be up front, the 94, the driver that, for some said this race a must-win for the 94 team. Otherwise, you needed just a top 3 finish this week and next week, and needed a lot of drivers that have mistakes and rough nights, and we've seen a couple of those drivers struggling. We've seen Logan Brakey at times looking like he was going to have a poor finish. We saw at moments where we thought maybe Ross Tatum or Braxton Deweese or even Dyer were going to have a poor finish. Well, we're going to give him another shot. This is a number of over. Got 3 needed. Only a second attempt. And Charles, this is only our first race of 2 tonight on LSRTV. We've got the Northwest Truck Series later on at Iowa at 11:35 Eastern Standard Time. But man, that one, playoff racing is second race of the round at 12. Moving on for that. So racing all night long, playoff racing in both SNB Cup Series and the Northwest.
Yeah, playoff racing it is. That's the theme pretty much all around. You got the ARCA Series, the Cup Series, Truck Series, the SNB Cup Series as well. Playoffs every week. We're rounding out. We got maybe 5-6 races left, 7 tops, I think, for the Northwest. 2 after tonight for the SNB Cup Series. So the seasons are coming to an end, which is my favorite part of the season. Not the crowning of a champion, but the means we get a little bit of a break. We get to get into the winter stuff.
I mean, it's a break for maybe a week or 2, and then who knows what's going to bubble through. You got series that can bubble in. You never know what we're going to pick up here on LSR TV. I know we have picked up new series 2022. It is going to be a big year for LSR TV. We've already announced a couple of series that are going to be joining us, as we've got already the Sim 500 Cup Series coming to us. We're excited for those guys, as that is going to be a big league. A lot of drivers excited to be on LSRTV, and we're excited to be calling their races as well.
Yeah, definitely glad to have the Sim 500 Esports League coming over for their Premier Cup series on Monday nights, right before the Northwest Cup series as well. And speaking of Cup cars, these Cup cars are about to hit the loud pedal again, Sam.
Yes, they are. The pace car is off. Attempt number 2 at overtime. This could be the end of the race, our last attempt if needed. But we got one more if we bring a yellow out before we get the white flag. It's that of Josh Altis, Eric Stamp, Trent Jump, Jacob Grant, Evan Coleman, your top 5 as they wait for the green. Green flag waves. Stamp, he's going to wheel spin it just a little bit that side, stalling out quickly as DJ Daniels drops low. Getting out of the way is the 5. We'll see if he can just stay on the apron. But up front, it's Altis, Stamp, also Jacob Grant on the outside. We'll see if the 90s, the 69 and 52 can get going, but they need a little bit of help. Is going to be the 94. It's 46 up front, your front 2.
Yeah, right now I'm maybe a little okay if I'm that 94. He's out there, but whoa! Rex and Deweese just shot out of a cannon, went to the top side. They're 3 wide, back for around 10th place.
I mean, they are trying to get side by side and moving, but right now up front, it's Joshua Altis. He wants the white flag. The white flag shows that we'll be making it to the end. And usually if you're the lead driver, when you see the white flag, you got a shot to win. As we are going to our 1 to go, CRN 1 to go. As there goes that of the 21 into the wall. As everyone else has to scatter behind them. Ross Tatum's race is snuffed out quickly. But it's going to be Joshua Altis, a must-win driver that feels like this could have been his shot to lock it in, to try to get another championship for the 94. Moving up front to the high side, it's Andrew Cootie, but who will join the 48? Not a lot of the drivers thinking about it. It's Joshua Altis getting a bump from Trent Jump. Evan Coleman as well. They are trying to make as many moves as possible. If Altis wins, he's moved on to championship 4. If Coleman wins, he goes to the championship 4. Out of turn 4 into the tri-oval. Who's going to make the move? To the outside, it's Evan Coleman, but it's Joshua Altis all on his lonesome, getting the win. Altis going for another championship.
What a race from Altis. He gets the win and just chaos behind him. You got cars spinning everywhere, beating and banging. As there you're going to see, it looks like Jump give him a little congratulations. And there's another little congratulations bump right there. And everybody going to come up and give Josh Altis a congratulations. And yeah, it's about time you won a race bump.
That docked him 5 points and kind of put the 94 team in a must-win scenario. The clutch factor kicks in. We're going to have our Season 1 champion and our Season 2 champion of the SNB Cup Series fighting it out to possibly become the first 2-time winner of a championship in the SNB Cup Series now.
Yeah, you definitely, you always hope to have a good scenario when you get into that final race. And it's going to happen here tonight. Season 1, Season 2 champions, all battling for Season 3. The good news is we have 2 and 4 chances now of going to see a back-to-back champion because they're both going to be in it. And obviously he picked in that solar energy. He made it as we'll see just how much fuel he actually had left when we get a chance to talk to him a little bit later. Over in Discord after we do one last piece of business over here. And Sam, you know what that is? That is, of course, your unofficial race results. We know who won by .107. That is Josh Altis, followed by Trent Jump, who had a good run. Tom Fisher having a pretty good run for himself. Top 3. We'll be talking to them here in a moment. Logan Brakey, Matt Dyer. His strategy didn't get him the win, but hey, it got him a top 5. In that 88 machine, followed by Jacob Grant, Evan Coleman, Andrew Cootie, Eric Stamp, Braxton Deweese, after having a strong car at the beginning, rounds out in a top 10 finish.
Yeah, and then finishing out the rest of the results, going to be that of Caleb Smith, Robbie Helms, Keenan Massey, TJ Daniels, Will Bustler, as well as Ross Tatum, Zachary Stone, Rob Sherwood, Zach Peterson, and Brockton Packard. I mean, looking at some of where the drivers lie, Ross Tatum, this is not the finish you wanted, and our cut line is going to get very close going into Phoenix next week.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very close. And of course, just rounding out the field, going to be Chris Smith first. Again, a very interesting race. Altus getting the win he needs. I think he's going to be very, very happy. And obviously, he's going to be excited we got to actually cover this race after all of stuff going on with tech issues. You just can't help them. They come at the most inopportune times, but he'll be thrilled to know that we got it. I don't even know if he knew all of the tech issues we had going on here tonight to make this happen. But definitely looking forward to talking to him, Sam.
Oh, absolutely. I know we're going to have a very excited that of Joshua Altus. And as well, I think we're going to hear an excited Logan Breakey. This is exactly what Logan needed, coming in fourth in points. And that points lead going to be added a little bit more, especially with Ross Tatum's falter for this race. Logan Breakey going to have a little bit more of a buffer to work with going into Phoenix next week. So I think all three drivers going to be excited, and we will be back in just a few moments. We got to get ourselves moved over to talk to our drivers, but cannot wait to talk to our top three. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This certainly was a race to be seen as we got to see Joshua Altus lock his ticket into a shot to win the championship. Excited to see how he's going to do in 2 weeks, but we got to talk to the other two drivers, starting things off with Logan Breakey, who's going to be finishing in third place here tonight. Logan, what a run for yourself. Oh, excuse me. Actually, do we have Fisher? Fisher was third. Excuse me. Sorry, my telemetry I was looking at was wrong. Fisher, how was the third place finish for yourself?
Well, it feels great, first of all, to finally be back on the podium after so long off of it. But it was a tough race all night. Just bad luck on top of bad luck on top of really, really bad pit stops on myself. The pit strategy from Jacob Grant was absolutely amazing. I just couldn't execute it as well as I'd hoped. But at the end there, that questionable caution at the end sort of brought us all back up into the mix and allowed me to just push Jacob Grant through, and then I managed to find a way through after whatever heck just happened to the end.
Yeah, that was it was bizarre seeing some of the wrecks that happened there late. Thomas, though, for this end of the race, how was it, trying to be aggressive, trying to go for a win, of course, but also how was it trying to work with the playoff drivers around you?
Well, to be honest, when it comes to the playoff drivers, apart from the ones who are my teammates, the others I really don't give a toss about. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still competing against them. The ones who are my teammates, of course, I will jeopardize my own race in order to push them up into a good position, but the rest of them I really don't care about. So I'm not really working with them around me. The main focus for me right now is just get good points. I know that High Five Racing, we've already won the Constructors' Championship, so at this point, we're just trying to extend that lead heading into the end of the race.
Well, Thomas, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Well, massive shout out to High Five Racing, of course. Amazing guys over there. Thank you very much for Jacob Grant for doing the strategy and everyone else. We worked super well all together tonight. Thank you to Titan Loose Off on YouTube. Go check them out. thank you as well to SCW VRA Racing, so Sports Car Worldwide. Thank you as well to Vulture. Thank you very much for them for supporting me at all times. Thank you to my father for allowing me to do this, and for everyone coming out to support me. I saw my girlfriend in chat earlier, so thank you to her, and thanks to you guys as well. I actually want to say thank you to everyone else who was driving. You know, as much as we don't always get along, I think I've sworn at pretty much everyone in this league once before, but it's always a pleasure to drive against.
Getting himself a third place finish here tonight. Congratulations, Thomas, on a third place finish, and good luck in these next couple of races.
Thank you very much.
Now we're going to move over to the driver. Second race of the season, second place finish. Trenton Jump. Trenton, this time, you know, you got to follow the 94, but man, how is this race for yourself?
Well, we were running like 13th, nowhere near the main pack, and we got a yellow and ended up second. So I guess what else can I say, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we saw the drivers having to make late decisions. It looked like because of the timing of the caution, a lot of drivers had to make a pit stop under that overtime attempt. How much fuel did you have, and did you have enough fuel, you know, if you didn't come in to make us, you know, it seemed like you were forced into pit road, but how close were you if you didn't have to make this final pit stop?
I don't know. I think I probably would have been all right. When the caution came out, I just pitted just to get 4 fresh tires because I'd been on the same left side tires since like the beginning of the race. So I just said screw it and went in and took tires and kind of just played out that wreck, because that first wreck that happened that started the first green white checker, I barely missed that. So then that put me in good position. So, and then on the last restart, I just kind of said to myself, I'm just going to push the crap out of the 94 and try to get away. And then when we come around to 4 on the white flag, I was going to pull out, and then I don't know, it got wibble wobbly behind, and it just allowed him to check out, so I didn't get a real good chance at coming around to pass him.
Well, Trent, it certainly you did that. You pushed them to a win, and it was a great job for yourself. Before we let you go, though, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I just want to thank SNB for letting me come to race, and Justin at that Color Teal Designs for painting the car, and you guys for broadcasting this whole deal.
That's Trent Jump, going to get his second place finish and his second start of the SNB Cup Series, and good luck these next couple of weeks.
Thank you.
And now we move to victory lane with a driver that could probably take a huge sigh of relief. Came in almost a must-win scenario. Joshua Altis winning, and now we've got both of our previous champions in the SNB Cup Series locked in for the championship race at Kansas. Josh, just tell us, how are you feeling right now?
You said it, Sam. Just relief, man. Finally got back to victory lane. It's been so long, man. We haven't won since first race of season 2, which is crazy. So almost an entire season without a win. Actually, more than an entire season, I guess, technically, if you say season 3 Daytona. So yeah, it's been a really long time, and gosh, man, I'm just relieved.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on other times that you've been up in the booth of us asking you, like, do you feel like you can get a win? And at times it sounds like you kind of felt like maybe you lost it with most of season 2 and into season 3. But I think tonight you've shown it. You got the speed to get the win, and you've shown speed to be up front and have a shot to get wins. Going into these next couple of races, how are you feeling about your shot for a championship?
Oh, I'm ready, man. We're gonna go compete at Kansas. I really don't care about Phoenix next week. I'm just gonna kind of go out there and try to have fun, which is honestly what I tried to do tonight. I feel like I've put so much pressure on myself to go get it done, and I feel like that's kind of hindered me at times. So honestly, I didn't race all week. I didn't practice yesterday. I just kind of did my thing and try to come in with a different mindset of I'm just going to show up and have fun and go for it and do the best I can. And we got it done. I knew I had to win. I mean, we had a terrible week last week. I had a rough time on the road course on the Roval, and had a little incident with Chris Smith, and actually ended up getting a penalty after the race for running into him. So it was just last week, everything that could go wrong went wrong, and then this week, we just stayed with it, man. We were out of it with about 2 or 3 laps to go. I think Jacob and I were running 9th and 10th, like 15 seconds behind the leaders, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to go win at Phoenix next week, and luckily we got a caution, and That last green flag stop, I actually put a full tank of fuel in, and I think some guys just took a splash, which they had to come pit and fuel their car during some of those green white checkers. And luckily, I had enough fuel, and I was just hanging on at the end. Trenton did a great job. I appreciate him racing me clean. Anyone that says he wasn't trying is lying, because that man was shoving me all the way around the track. I was turning left, right on the yellow line, trying not to wreck. And I just appreciate him racing me clean, and we got it done.
Well, you had fun, you've won, and now you get to celebrate it. Before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Sam. I first want to thank you guys at LSRTV, Charles, Jeff Stabnow, yourself, Sam, Wesley, everyone that's been a part of our series. We have a great relationship with you guys at LSRTV, and I just really appreciate all the hard work that goes into these broadcasts. And Charles is always working hard, burning the late night oil, trying to just make them better. So I just appreciate you guys, and give a special shout out to Solar Energy. I can't say the actual name of my company because I don't have the naming rights, but I'm selling solar panels now. So if anyone's interested in clean power and saving a ton of money on your electric bill, hit me up. Be happy to help you guys out. But yeah, thanks to Rob Shearwood, my teammates at MP Motorsports. It's been a challenging season. There's been a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and just happy that I knew it was going to have to come down to a game 7 type of scenario to come out and show out and prove that we deserve to be here. So I'm glad I could do it tonight, and we're going to go race for our championship at Kansas.
Congratulations there, Josh, and have a fun one celebrating this one, and good luck with practicing to get ready for that championship race.
Appreciate it, Sam. Thank you, guys.
Well, a huge thanks to all the drivers, and appreciate them coming up into the booth and talking with us. But just 2 more races to go. 1 race, 2 spots are open to figure out who's going to be in our championship 4. We already knew Braxton DeWeese was locked in because of the Roval, and now Joshua Altis is going to be involved and locked in. We've got our Season 1 champion, our Season 2 champion. Will we see someone say that they are a 2-time champion of the SNB Cup Series, or will someone new of the rest of the 6? There's only 2 spots left. Who's going to take it? Will it be Ross Tatum, that had a struggle fest here tonight after being caught up early in a wreck, who fell all the way back to the end of the field? Will it be Logan Brakey, who came up 3rd here today? Or will it be one of the 4 drivers outside of the top 4? Matt Dyer, Eric Stamp, Evan Coleman. But, man, it's going to be a lot of work for themselves. But the pressure is now off for 2 of them. Braxton DeWeese, Joshua Altis. They're good to move on. But us here on LSR TV, we still got 1 more race. It's the Northwest Truck Series. Playoff action continues on later tonight at 11:35 Eastern Standard Time. Cannot wait for it. But for myself, Sam Dyer, for that of Charles Wooten, thank you for joining us here for the SNB Cup Series. Phoenix, that's the next stop for the SNB Cup Series. Can't wait for it. And we cannot wait for more racing action later on tonight. Have a good one if you're done with us on LSR TV after the SNB Cup Series, or see you later for the Northwest Truck Series. Have a good one.